Okay, so as I was mentioning, so we are going to start with the walkthrough of how to install Node.js and your VS Code, because some of you are maybe new to automation testing, some of you are maybe moving from Selenium Java and to Playwright. So probably you are hearing VS Code for the first time, right? You may have no idea about Node.js, so we should know how to install all of this. Okay, so as I was mentioning, so I have already prepared this document, which I've already shared this document with some of you. And okay, let me share my screen as well. So please let me know if you're able to see. So this is it.
Uh,
I've shared my screen. Please let me know, guys, if you're able to see.
yes.
Oh, perfect. Now, okay, this is basically how this document that I was sharing yesterday. So the first thing, what you want to do is you want to see everything is written over here. So what I'll do, the first thing, I'll open google.com. Okay, on my google.com, just search for Node.js. Okay, you can write Node.js install, Node.js download, whatever, doesn't matter now. Okay, and then this is the official website of Node.js. Just click on this download node.js. Yeah, and it will take you to this particular page. Okay, now, very important thing that you should understand is by default, it will detect your operating system automatically. Okay, since I'm on a Mac machine, it is showing me Mac OS. In your case, some of you are from Windows background, some of you are using Mac. So it'll show you your current operating system. And then very important thing is, in your case, it will show you this LTS version. Now, what is LTS? LTS stands for long-term stable version. So guys, you always want to install the latest version or the stable version. No, you want to install the stable version because Node.js keeps on coming up with some latest features. You don't want to play around with the latest features. Why? You want a stable Node.js version. So for any software, not just for Node.js, you always want to download the LTS version. Whether it is Jenkins, Java, any software, always go with LTS, long-term stable. So even it is recommending to use LTS, not the current one. So current is always latest, but it may not be stable one. I hope you get it. Okay. So on Mac, you can click on this .pkg. So once it gets downloaded, just double click, click on next, next, next. It is a very straightforward installation. And automatically your Node.js would be installed and the path would be set. And once you are able to install, what you want to do is, and yeah, do one thing. While you're installing, make sure your VS Code is closed once. Okay. So what you can do, open your terminal and run this command. Node space dash V. Okay, you want to check after installing Node.js whether Node.js is successfully installed or not. So now simply hit enter and it is giving me a number. In your case, the number would be different for sure. Why? I bought this Mac almost a year back, almost 1.5 year back. Okay, so by back then we had this LTS version. I'm still on this LTS version. I never felt like upgrading to the latest one. If required, I might upgrade it. In your case, whatever LTS version you see, just go ahead. So version number doesn't matter. Okay, so this is your node. Okay, so this is something what you want to install. So now I'll show you in this case, because I don't have a Windows machine, so I have actually prepared the documentation for everything. So in your case, if you are having a Windows machine, it will show you something like this. Yeah, and it will give you Windows. For Windows, it is going to give you this MSI option. Now, in case if you are wondering which one should I go with, okay, so you're okay, because it is actually asking you to select an architecture. So for Windows, which one should you select? If you are having a 64-bit, which is the most recommended option, go with the x64. Okay. But if you have a 32-bit Windows PC, then go with x86. Maybe if you are having an ARM-based Windows device, then only go with ARM64. Okay. And if you are not sure what is a system architecture, I have written everything, guys. Go to your settings, system, about everything should be clear. Okay. And then for Mac, I have written this. Okay. So for Mac, this it gets downloaded as a package. Just open it. You will see something like this. Click on continue. Okay, continue, continue, continue. Very simple, straightforward installation. Okay, finally, it will give you this message. Installation was completed successfully, which means your Node.js is installed, which means you're all set to run JavaScript on your machine. And finally, you can close. That's it. Okay, and then the path is already set. If you're from Java background, you know, sometimes we have to set the system path. We don't have to do any of this. Okay, so the path is already set. Now, for Windows, okay, so for Windows, it is also very straightforward installation. Just download this MSA file, double click, install, next, next, next. That's it. You don't want to set any special option. Okay. And once it is installed, you will see something like this, a Node.js folder inside your C program files on Windows. Okay. So 99% times the path is already set actually, even for Windows. But 1%, if it is not set, okay, this is how you can do. Copy the path, open your system environment variables. Okay, come over here, open the environment variables, set a new environment variable called node underscore, pass the path, and you are done. That's it. How simple it is. Okay, but still, I'll share this document. Let me just copy this document and I'll paste in the chat. So, okay, just give me one sec. I'm pasting in the meeting chat. So, this is what I'm doing. Yeah, so I've pasted this document. Now you should be all able to get it. Now, the next thing, after installing Node.js, what you want to do? You want to install VS Code. So this is how you install VS Code. Just search on Google, Visual Studio Code. You can search VS Code, download, install, anything will do. Yeah. Now, it will take you to the official website, code.visualstudio.com. Now, VS Code is an editor which is very popular. 99% JavaScript developers go with VS Code. Why? It is very lightweight, it is very popular and backed by Microsoft. Okay, so and it is completely free actually. Okay, you don't want to go for any other editor outside VS Code, especially for JavaScript. Not needed actually. Okay, so it will take you to the official website. If you are on Windows, you can select the Windows option. If you're on Mac like me, you can go with the Mac option. Okay, and then it will ask you basically user installer, system installer. If you want to install for a particular user, you can go with this. If you want to install in the entire operating system, means if multiple users can access, go with the system installer. And then again, next, next, next. Very simple installation. Your VS Code should get installed. Okay, so once your VS Code is installed, if you open it, create an empty folder anywhere on your machine. Maybe you can create inside the D drive, maybe on your desktop, your whatever. Okay, create a folder called Playwright Automation. And once you open it, it might give you this option. Do you trust the authors? So what you want to do is just check this option and click I trust the authors. Okay. And for Playwright, we need one additional extension. Like I was yesterday mentioning about all the extensions that we require. And if some of you want, who could not attend yesterday's training, I can send you the list of extensions. You can drop me a WhatsApp. Let me just share my WhatsApp number as well. 7738532684. Okay, this is my WhatsApp number. If you guys need any clarifications regarding the course, the content, anything, or if you need any career guidance also, like a lot of people keep on asking me, okay, I'm happy to help you guys. Okay, I see, I really want to do what somebody did not do for me when I was needing guidance, unfortunately, but at least I can do what somebody did not do for me. Okay, yeah. And then after this is installed, you can check npm-v because npm means your node package manager. For Java, we have something called as Maven. Don't worry about Maven if you don't know. For JavaScript, we have something called as npm. So the purpose of npm is to install any third-party libraries. Now, this is not as in interviews, but for your understanding, for your foundation, you should understand what is the difference between your node and npm. So node is for running JavaScript in your machine, anywhere in your machine. That for that you need node. Now, when do you need npm? You need npm if you want to install any third-party library. For example, you need maybe Cypress, you want maybe Playwright, any kind of third-party library you want to install. There you don't want node, you want npm. Like in Java, we have something called as pom.xml file. Okay, we have Maven. So in JavaScript, we have npm. Okay, that is what it is. Okay, and then you want to install Playwright. So yesterday I was showing you how to create your first Playwright script, even if you have zero knowledge on Playwright, how you can install it. Okay, just run this command npm init playwright @latest. So I'll share this document. Everything is written and it is super simple. Firstly, it will ask you for an option, which language you want to use. We will go with TypeScript because we are learning TypeScript. This course is about TypeScript, but to learn TypeScript, JavaScript is the prerequisite. I cannot directly jump onto TypeScript without teaching JavaScript, because what is TypeScript basically? TypeScript is JavaScript with some additional features. Okay, so we have to cover JavaScript first. Okay, so then whatever options it keeps on asking you, just hit enter, 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 enter. Make sure you install Playwright browsers because Playwright comes with its own browsers. So if you're from Selenium background, This might look slightly different because Selenium can interact with the system browsers, but Playwright gives you its own browsers. It gives you its own Chromium, own Firefox, own WebKit. Don't worry about Chromium and WebKit. Once we'll start with Playwright, we'll cover everything from scratch. Okay, for now, just keep on hitting enter, 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 enter. That's it. And finally, it gives you this message, happy hacking or something. Okay, so once your Playwright is installed, you will see such kind of folders over here, node modules, tests, and all those things. Okay, means your Playwright project is set up. Yeah, so my Playwright project is set up. Okay, and yesterday we created our very first test case. Okay, so I just wanted to give you small confidence that yes, you can also start working on your Playwright test, your first Playwright test, even if you have zero idea about TypeScript, even if you have zero Playwright knowledge. Because Playwright is a super simple tool, guys, compared to Selenium. Okay, because Selenium is more of, you can say, a developer friendly tool. Java is not easy actually. Java is, it requires a very steep learning curve, unlike JavaScript, which is quite simple for beginners. I'm not saying Java is bad or something, but Java is a very powerful language. But for beginners, I recommend start with JavaScript, because most people are like me who say, Piyush, Java is very tough actually, and I usually give up on Java. Yeah, I've seen so many people on like this. Okay, so we have created our first test, and let me just show you what exactly we did. So in this case, let me just show you. Hmm. Now, how do I run my first Playwright test? It is very simple. So let me clear the terminal. How do I clear the terminal? Control L. So we should know the VS Code shortcuts also. And this Control L will work on your browser also. Now, how do I run my Playwright test? npx playwright and then test. Okay. And then since I have only one file, I don't need to pass a specific file. Why? Currently, we have only one file in my test folder, and I have written only. Anyone can understand what does the meaning of only, right? Like in Selenium, we have some helper attributes enabled equal to false. This is same thing. Only means run only this test and ignore everything else. Now, what do I do? npx playwright test. Hint, simply hit enter. So by default, Playwright is not going to show your browser. Why? Playwright test cases are run in the headless mode. Some of you know headless. Headless means an invisible browser. Means the test is running, but you won't get to see it. Okay. But if you want to see the browser, you can simply use dash dash edit. Okay. So once we'll start with Playwright, we'll study each and everything from scratch. Okay. So there we'll see what. Now see, edit. So Google Chrome for testing. This is the browser what Playwright is opening. And this Chrome is different than the actual Chrome that is there on my machine. Why? This Chrome is stable and thoroughly tested by Playwright. See, my first test is currently run. I'm able to successfully log in on Orange HRM website. Yeah. Okay. So this is something what we have covered. Okay. Now this is fine. Now, if I want to continue my test, simply click on this play button, which is your resume button. You can click on this, or you can come over here and simply hit Control C and forcefully stop your test, up to you. Okay. But I just wanted to show you that your first test is successfully run and it shows you passed. That's it. Okay. So don't worry about this code. We will cover everything. What is page? What is get by role? What is all this? Don't worry. We'll start. Okay. So this is what it is. All right. So now, and thank you so much. Yeah. So I was getting a lot of WhatsApp messages from some people like who were attending the demo class, and they really actually were quite happy with whatever, the course content that we have created. It's a pretty exhaustive course. And some of you are still wondering how much time it will take. It will take roughly approximately minimum 2 months approximately. And it will be around 45, you can say, hours of duration. And it is a recorded course. Okay, you can also treat it like a self-paced course because um, the recordings would be shared the very next day, and these recordings would be available for lifetime. Okay, try to attend the classes live if possible, but even if you're not able to, which I understand because most of us are IT professionals, and unfortunately in India there is no logout time. I understand that. Okay, so sometimes you may not be able to join live, which is something I understand. So then later on you can even watch the recording as well. Okay, so I believe you all must have understood. So, what is the installation process all about? So, we have created this very first project. Okay. So, and in VS Code, we can open multiple projects. All we have to do is simply click on this file, new window, and then create an empty folder, drag and drop. That's it. How simple it is in VS Code. Okay, so this is what we have seen, and I would request everyone who have not seen the yesterday's recording, please go to the yesterday's recording as well. Okay, and you will understand how to create your very first Playwright test. Okay, yes, you can copy and paste, but if you'll go to that recording, you can see in less than 5 minutes, I was able to create my first test from scratch, even if we have zero Playwright knowledge. Okay, and very important setting that I want to recommend. Some of you may not have it. Let me tell you. Go to this file, make sure you have this autosave functionality, because this is a very common beginner mistake what I see from people. What most people do is, especially beginners, so they don't have autosave by default, which is enabled. Now, even if I press the space, now see what happens. Can you see this white dot over here? Anyone who can tell me what is this white dot? Quickly, anyone? White dot? Some of you might have some knowledge. No, it's not difficult. White dot simply means these are unsaved changes, guys. Okay, unsaved changes means whatever I'm writing from now onwards, they are not getting saved. Okay, so for now, run my test, it is not going to work properly. So one option is I can manually save my code by on Windows, I can press Control and S to save. On Mac, I want to press Command and S to save. See, I'm pressing Command and S. Okay, and it has got saved. But every time I have to press Command and save. Okay, again I'm pressing. So better option is just go with File and Autosave. Yeah, make sure this option File Autosave is selected. Okay, so this is what we have covered yesterday, and now we are all set to start with JavaScript now. Okay, so we are going to start with the basics of JavaScript. Okay, so that is what it is. Any questions meanwhile before I start with JavaScript? Anyone? But I guess you're all able to hear me properly, right? Just confirm once if you're able to see my screen and able to hear me properly. Just confirm once.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to hear me. Perfect. Great. Now, what we're gonna do now is, okay, so JavaScript basics. So in JavaScript, okay, I'll start with the basic types. Anyone can tell me what are the types in JavaScript? What are types in JavaScript? If you have some basic knowledge, like some of you are from Java background. Hmm? Okay, so I will start with the JavaScript types. Okay, and I'll tell you. So the first thing, okay, the scratch. So what I'll do is I'll create a new folder in my project. Okay, so how do I create a new folder? It is quite simple. So if I click on this second button in VS Code, the second button is for new folder. The first button is for new file. So, and very important is what is being selected here. If I click on this, you see this blue boundary over here. Now, if I click on this, so I can click anywhere here in this empty area, I can click anywhere. And now if I click on this second button, what is happening? I'm creating a folder in the root directory. What if I would have selected this folder, and now if I click on this, a new folder will get created here, which is something which I don't want. Okay. Now I want to create a folder in the root directory. So what do I do? Again, I'll click anywhere in this empty area. This blue boundary is displayed. And now I click on this. Let me call it JavaScript. Okay, so I have created this folder called JavaScript in VS Code. So I'll remove everything. I'll close it. So what I want to do now, I want to create my first JavaScript project. Okay, yeah. Now we will start with the basics of JavaScript. So for this, let me create my first JavaScript file. I'll click on this button. Okay, which is what? Your, let me call it, say 1.js. So any JavaScript file. Okay, so please focus here, guys. This is very important. If you want to create any file in Java, you create a .java file. But in JavaScript, if you want to create any file, you want to create a file ending with .js. Yeah, yeah. So I've created this file .js. It is a JavaScript file. And see, even VS Code is giving this particular icon. Now, how am I getting these nice icons? It is quite simple. Just click on this extensions. Okay. And now if you see this extension, yesterday I was talking about a couple of extensions, your basic VS Code setup. You want to install this extension, material icon theme. And because of this material icon theme, if you see here, I'm getting such nice, beautiful icons. Otherwise, without the material icon theme, if you try doing this, you will get very basic icons. Now, nothing wrong with it. It is not even mandatory, but it is going to enhance your you can say coding experience. And if you're going to learn and work on for a pretty long time, why not have a better experience? Okay. So I would suggest install the material icon theme, which is going to enhance your experience. Okay. Now we are all set to start writing our JavaScript code. Okay. So the first thing what we'll do is we will start with the data types of JavaScript. Okay. So what are the data types? Now, what am I writing here? These are called as multi-line comment. Now, what is a multi-line comment? Multi-line comment simply means I'm instructing VS Code that, hey, whatever I'm writing inside, just ignore it because JavaScript does not understand the English language. You can understand English, I can understand English, but JavaScript cannot understand English. Okay, so this whatever I'm writing inside is going to be commented in green. So what are we about to learn? We are about to learn the data types in JavaScript. Okay, so data types in JavaScript. Now, what are the data types in JavaScript? Before we even talk about data types, the first thing we should understand is we are surrounded by data, guys. So what type of data that we have that we want to store? Maybe I want to have an data like 100, which is a number. I may want to, okay, I may have another data, for example, my name, which is this one. Okay, I may have data which is like a Boolean thing. Boolean means something called true or false, yes or no, one or zero, whatever. I can have data like something like this. Now, I want to classify this data. How do I classify this data? Through data types. So data types means what? I want to classify this data so that I can store the data appropriately. Now, 100 is what? 100 is a number. What is this? This is a string. What is a string? We'll cover strings later on in detail. But for now, you can consider string like a group of characters. Your name. What is your name? Your name is basically single characters but joined together. What is it? It is a string. And what is this? True means your Boolean value. It can be true or it can be false. In simple words, any question that can only be answered in either yes or no, true or false, that is a Boolean value. Okay, so what are the data types in JavaScript? Means in how many ways I can categorize the data. So the first way of categorizing the data is your number. Okay, very simple. Second thing is your string. The third one to categorize data is your Boolean type. These are the three which are most frequently used in JavaScript: number, string, and Boolean. Okay. So, and then we have some more data types which we talk about. The fourth one is your null. And the fifth one is your undefined. Okay. And technically, there are two more data types that are available in JavaScript other than null and undefined. Okay, other than null and undefined. But we will not use them much, but we should still know. And what are these data types? They are symbol and bigint. These are not very frequently used, but something to be aware of. Because what are we focusing? We are focusing on clearing the fundamentals. Because if the fundamentals are clear, not only we can clear the interviews, but we will be able to work in the TypeScript projects with Playwright effectively. That is our end goal. Our end goal is not just to get comfortable, but it is even if as an individual contributor, I should be able to work confidently on Playwright with JavaScript or TypeScript. Doesn't matter. Okay, so that is our end goal, my end goal towards the end of this course. Okay, so these are the data types. I believe you are able to understand. Okay, now moving on to the next part. So we'll start with the very simple things about numbers. So if we talk about numbers, what are numbers in JavaScript? If you're especially coming from the Java background, then what happens? In Java, we have different types. Like in Java, we have byte, then we have short, then we have integer, we have float, we have double. Means for all these numbers, we have different types because Java is from that era, basically in 90s, where memory was a big concern. Okay, well, JavaScript, when it was designed, it had only one data type, which is on number. So what all numbers we have? Okay, very simple. We can have a number called 40. We can have a negative number like this. We can have a floating point number. What is a floating point number? Basically, a number that contains a decimal point. So that is a floating point number. Say 34, dot 56, whatever. All, all of these are numbers. Okay, so we can have even a very large precision of numbers also. Let me give you some limitations of JavaScript also. Now, let me show you. Okay, so now if I'll go back to the browser, I'll go to Google. Yeah. Now let me show you. Not only I can run my JavaScript code here, I can even run my JavaScript code right inside the browser. So if I'll right click and click on inspect, go to the console, clear it out. How do I clear? I've already told you, right? Control L. Okay. Now, what do I do here? It is very simple. I'll write
Hello.
my JavaScript code. Okay, guys, please stay muted. Thank you.
So we are not able to see the browser screen.
Oh, you're not able to see. Oh, that is odd. Okay, are you able to see now, Deepak? Now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Rohit. Yeah. Okay. Now, this is my browser. Okay. Now, let me show you a limitation of JavaScript. So one of the limitations of JavaScript, see, JavaScript is not perfect language. It has a lot of imperfections. That is why we want to move to TypeScript. Okay. Now, one of the imperfections, one of the small weird issues of JavaScript is what? It is not infinitely precise. Let me give an example. So if I run this code, it has how many? It has 16 digits so far. Now, with the 16 digits, it works properly. Means JavaScript has a maximum precision of 16 decimal places, means it can store data up to 16 decimal places. But the moment I try to cross beyond 16, means 17 and more, suppose if you see like this, now see what happens. See, JavaScript has lost the precision. So which means what? What do we learn from this? Means if I'm working in some projects where I need these kind of calculations. Maybe if I'm working in some scientific projects, maybe if I want to perform these many calculations which involve such a high precision, then JavaScript is not the right language in that case. Okay, so you should understand these limitations as well. Okay, so JavaScript is having a precision only up to 16 decimal places. Okay, so quite simple. Let us move on. Now, suppose if I'll write some code like this, and now see, I've written some pieces of code I want to clear. What do I do? One simple option is just click on this button. Okay, clear console. Let me click on this clear. And my console is now clear. And sometimes I keep on getting some errors that is not related to JavaScript, that is related to the browser. So you can safely ignore those errors. Now, what else we want to learn? So in JavaScript, spacings do not matter. Okay, for example, there are some languages like Python where indentation and spacings are actually important. Okay, what do I mean by this? If I write like this, 4/2. Now, what is this forward slash? Forward slash means I'm trying to divide 4 by 2. Okay, now if I simply hit enter, I get the correct output, which is 2. But okay, this is looking fine. But if there are so many operations that I'm trying to perform, in that case, it might look slightly weird. Okay, so in that case, what do I do? Okay, let me just type like this: 4 space forward slash space 2. Now this is looking a lot readable. Yeah, for just 1 or 2 characters, it is fine. But if there are so many calculations you are doing in one line, then it might look slightly odd. So using spaces is going to make your code more readable. So guys, first rule of programming. Okay. I'll be sharing a lot of good practices also with you. One of those good practices is what? Always make your code more readable. Not only for you, even when let's say even a fresher or somebody else joins your project in your team, he should be able to understand your code in a much simpler manner. Okay. If it is not happening, it means there's a scope of improvement. Okay. Very, very important concept here. Readability is extremely important. Yeah. Now, moving on, we have something. We can even use our console as a calculator, guys. Okay, let me give an example. So in my console, which where I'm currently right now, okay, let me clear the console, Control L. Now, I can use console as a calculator. And what is this? This is your plain JavaScript code that I'm running. So browsers have their own execution environment. That is why I'm able to run pure JavaScript like this. So I can do any of these calculations, maybe 200 minus 100, any possible mathematical calculation I can write in JavaScript. Okay, which is very straightforward. So console also acts like a calculator, means I don't even need internet for doing all this because I'm running pure JavaScript here. Okay, now we have something called as a remainder operator. Some of you might be aware, okay, some of you might not be, which is okay. Now, what do I do? What is remainder operator? Let me tell you. What if I do 3%2? This is the remainder operator. Let me tell you what does it mean. Remainder operator means what is the remainder if I try to divide 3 by 2. It is not a clean division, right? Because 3 is an odd number. It is not a even number, correct? So 3 percentage 2 means give me the remainder when I try to divide this by 2. So 1 is the remainder. So sometimes in some calculations, we need this calculation. Why? Maybe my requirement is to find out if the number is odd or even. If the number is odd, do something. If the number is even, do something else. So we make such kind of decisions throughout JavaScript. Okay. So we'll talk about if else and then decision making later on. For now, this is mostly used for generation of what? Calculating whether a number is even or odd. Okay. Now, moving on to the next part. Okay, we have something called as powers. Now, how do I calculate power in JavaScript? Okay, in order to suppose if I think of, let's say, 3 square or maybe 5 square or maybe 3 cube, how I can do? It is very simple again. 3 double star of 2. Now, how do I read this? It is read as exponentiation operator. Let me write this for you. And guys, I'll share this all this code base with you for your reference. So what is exponentiation operator? This is for basically doing your powers. I'm not saying squares or cubes, any type of power. Okay. So how it is denoted? Using double stars. This is for calculating powers. So this is your 3 square and this is your 5 cube. 5 cube is what? Is it 125? No, 5 star star, double star and then 3. 125, correct. So 5 into 5 into 5. Okay, you can do this. There's another way of doing the same in JavaScript, which is your math.pow. POW stands for power. Now, how do I read this? 3 comma 2 means 3 raised to the power 2. Now, if you want to do 3 raised to the power 2 or 3 square, you can write this or you can write this. Both of them will give you the same output. But which one I will go with? I might go with the first one. Why? It is more compact, more simple, because this star star is a very simple option. I'm little lazy here. Rather than using this mat.power, I will go with 3 star star 2, which is a very simple thing. Now, there's no right or wrong. Now, math is a utility object which is inbuilt in JavaScript. Okay. Suppose if your requirement is to perform some mathematical calculations. Okay. Rather than creating your own function or doing something from scratch, so JavaScript is saying, hey, you don't need to do all this. I have some utility functions which I have created already for you. Why not use it? Okay. So this is a class. It is a utility object which gives you so many common functions. Okay. And we'll see this math object later on. Okay. But I believe you are able to understand. So my point of is actually to tell you what JavaScript is quite simple and easy to understand, provided we are learning in a structured way. Okay, so we are not running basically jumbling things. We are actually going in a very, very, very structured way. Okay, so now moving on to the next concept. We have some special values in JavaScript. Okay, some special values which is called as NaN, and the second one is your infinity. Now, what is NaN? NaN stands for not a number. Infinity is something you all have seen, especially in your school days. Yeah. So anything that is divided by zero is an infinity. Okay. So NaN is something that is exclusively for JavaScript. Now, when do I get NaN? Let me show you. So JavaScript is slightly odd actually. Let me give you some examples. Let me clear the console again. Now, what if I do 0 divided by 0? What is the output of this code? See guys, NaN. NaN means not a number. This is also a small bug in JavaScript, which is there for a pretty long time, that NaN is actually considered as a numeric value, which is not. NaN is not really a numeric value. It is actually an error. Okay, but somehow JavaScript still treats NaN as a numeric value. Let me show you how. So using this type of, if I do like this, see, it tells me it is a number. Okay, so type of is an operator which tells me NaN is of type number, which ideally it is not. It is actually an error. Okay, so there are some small tiny issues in JavaScript that you should be aware of. Nobody's going to ask you this in interview, but for your fundamentals, you should know all this. Okay, so moving on to the next part, which is again quite simple. So if I try to perform any mathematical operation with NaN, I'll get NaN only, just like infinity. Now, how do I get infinity? If I do, let's say 3 divided by 0. Okay, now it gives me infinity. Can you see this? 0 by 0 gives NaN. but any other number other than 0 is your infinity. Okay, which is slightly odd. Okay, this could have been infinity, but that's okay. So they have decided that we'll go with NaN. Okay, and then in JavaScript, we have something called as negative infinity also, which is very odd. When I studied JavaScript for the first time, I was really surprised to see we have negative infinity. Even more surprising was we have a negative 0 also. Okay, and my brain got file not found. Yeah, because I never heard about this negative 0. Let me show you. We have something called as negative 0. I don't know what to do with this negative 0, but we have in JavaScript. Same. If I try to divide a negative number by 0, I get negative infinity. Something to note, okay? This is not something you will use very often, but you should know about JavaScript. What is happening here? Okay. So this is about your negative infinity. Okay. And then the last thing before I'll open up for some questions. So we'll talk about variable declaration. Okay. So variable declaration. Now, what is variable declaration? Okay. So in JavaScript, I can store some value in a variable. Let me give an example. Let's say, suppose my birth year is 1991. This is my birth year. And I want to use my birth year maybe 4 or 5 times in my code. So what do? I'll use it once, maybe 5 lines later, I'll again use it. Maybe 10 lines later, again I'll use it. So you see, it is looking very odd. I cannot even change it. So better ways, if I'm using one value multiple number of times, rather than using this value like this, better is store it in a variable. So how do I store anything into a variable in JavaScript? Let me tell you the syntax. So the syntax is let some variable name equal to some value. This is the syntax. Now, two things are happening here, guys. This is extremely important. Okay. Two things are happening. One is your declaration. Declaration means I have a memory. Okay, let me show you. This is very important. Most people don't understand this, but let me give a real example. Okay, let me open a fresh whiteboard. So using whiteboard, it is going to be quite simple. So start with blank canvas. Okay, now this is my, imagine this is my operating system memory. If this is my memory, it's very hard to draw pure square or pure rectangle. I wish I could draw. No worries. So what I want to do is I want to create a variable. Okay, now let me give you a simple example. Suppose if I do let counter equal to 0. Okay, this is only for JavaScript. This code is not valid in Java. Okay, because Java does not have let and const. Okay, yeah. Now, if I'm doing let counter equal to 0, what is happening? The moment you see this keyword called let, what happens? Immediately something should come into your mind. What is that something? I'm reserving some space in the memory. Okay. What is happening? I'm reserving some space in the memory. So if this entire bigger box is a memory, means I'm allocating or reserving some space in the memory. Okay. And then what am I doing? I'm actually storing this value inside this location or this memory space. So what am I doing? I'm storing this value 0 inside this memory. Now, is it enough? The answer is no. Why? Because I want to use this memory location later on. Now, how can I use it later on if I don't give it a name? Right? Like, if you don't know my name, if I don't have a name, how would people talk to me? How will people communicate with me? Not possible, right? Same thing. If I want to access this value later on in my code, I want to give it a name. How do I give it a name? Okay, that name is your counter. So whenever I say I'm creating variable, okay, what we are really doing, I'm actually reserving some space in the memory. And in order to use this space later on, I want to give it a name or a placeholder. That placeholder is called variable. Most people just say that, okay, I'm creating a variable called counter and storing this value 0. That is a very superficial knowledge. But deep knowledge is what? What am I doing in the memory? In the memory, I'm storing this value in a container. And how do I refer this container? By using this name or placeholder. That placeholder is called variable. That is the real meaning of variable declaration. So what is this? This is our variable declaration. And what is this part? This is your assignment. So two things are happening here. One is your declaration, which is your reserving some space in the memory. And the second part is your assignment, where you are storing some value in the memory. That is what is happening over here, guys. Okay. And then Very important in JavaScript is for variable names, you want to use lower camel casing. What is lower camel casing? Observe, guys, when I'm creating this variable counter, what am I doing? I'm creating this variable with a lowercase c. Can I create counter like this? Technically, I can create, but it is a very poor way of writing because all the developers across the world follow this convention that the variable name has to be in lowercase. So if it is a single word, I'll write like this. But if it is if it is a name, let's say let full name, which has two words, can I write like this? Full name equal to Piyush space Gupta. So firstly, spaces are not allowed in your variable name. So I have to remove this space like this. But if you see, it can be hard to read. If there are so many words joined together, it can be hard to read. So how to make it readable? How to make it better? So the first character of first word, I'll keep it lowercase, and the first character of second word and all the subsequent words, I'll capitalize it. Why? It is easier to read. Some of you might think that can I use underscore? Technically, yes, I can use underscore. But this is called snake casing, which is there in your Python language. Okay, but in Java and JavaScript, we don't use snake casing. Okay, so this underscore is for snake casing. Okay, so technically it is allowed, but we don't use it. So in JavaScript, we use lower camel casing. Lower camel casing. Camel casing means first character of first word is lowercase, first character of second word and second, third, all the subsequent words will be in uppercase so that it is easier to read. So lower camel casing is for what? It is for readability, guys. And again, it is a good practice. Your code should be readable. Yes, if you're practicing, you can do whatever you want. But in real projects, if you'll maybe if you'll create a variable name like this or like this, you will get a review comment from a manager or your lead, whosoever is approving your code, saying that, hey, this is not allowed in JavaScript. Please go and fix your code. Okay, so better is write good code so that you don't want any review comment like this. Okay, so this is how we create variables in JavaScript. Okay, and then we use lower camel casing. Suppose if I want to create a variable called, let's say, number of hens, for example, this is how I create num of hens. Look at this. First character of first of every word starting from second word onwards is uppercase. Okay, this is how you use lower camel casing. Okay, and then we'll talk about operators. Okay, now if I do, let's say if I'm trying to add two numbers together, say 1 plus 2. Now, what is this plus? We all know it is addition operator, which is simple. No, but what really happens in JavaScript is, let me tell you that. Some slightly deeper thing. So this plus operator, which is your addition operator, how it becomes an addition? Let me tell you. Firstly, JavaScript looks at this number on the left. It is called operand. This plus is an operator. This 2 is an operand. Now, JavaScript will look at the first one and it sees, okay, it is a number. Okay, and now it looks at the second one. It is also a number, which is two operands. So, in addition to being an addition operator, in JavaScript, we also call it as a binary operator. What is binary? Binary means two. Okay. Now, very soon we'll see unary also. Unary means one. Binary means two. Okay. Suppose you might have seen something like this. I'm pretty sure all of you must have seen something like this. Counter plus plus, or maybe plus plus counter. What is this plus plus now? This plus plus simply means it is a unary operator. Why? Look at this. What is on the left? One operand. What is on the right? No operand. Here we have one operand on the left, one operand on the right. So that is why it is a, yes, it is an addition operator, but also it is a binary operator. Binary means it is working on two operands. This is a unary operator, means it is working on only one operand. Okay, that is why it is called unary operator. Unary means your one. Later on in JavaScript, we'll also see there is something called as ternary also. Ternary means three, which is basically a shorthand for if and else statement. We'll see that also, but not right now. Okay, so I'm just trying to give you some high level basics of JavaScript actually. Okay, so I'm pretty sure you, whatever we have covered so far, you all can say it is not difficult. It is okay, it is quite straightforward and simple. Yeah, because JavaScript is actually easy, and that is something you want to repeat yourself because JavaScript is easy. Okay, so I think we are pretty good for today. Now I'll open up for questions if you have any questions. Okay, and from tomorrow we'll start with constants and we'll move on to uh, JavaScript basics. So we'll study from scratch. Okay. So yeah, let me stop my screen sharing. I've given you some high level idea. So currently we are starting with JavaScript, then we'll move on to TypeScript. Okay. And then we'll create a Playwright project in TypeScript only so that we'll get good confidence because most of you mentioned your company requires TypeScript. Okay, so we will study TypeScript, but after completion of JavaScript. Okay, now opening up for questions. So let's see. Somebody has raised hands. So Praveen Jadhav. Yes, Praveen, please tell me if you have any queries. I would like to hear from you.
Yes. Uh, so basically, the Java, the basic basic Java I know, and we
Hmm.
have used data types like integer,
Correct.
string.
Hmm.
In JavaScript, you have used the let word, and
Correct.
then so I'm not able to differentiate both between that. So
Okay. See, in JavaScript, when I'm creating a variable, okay, let me quickly share my screen again. So, Praveen, are you able to see my screen now?
yes,
Okay, like in Java, if I talk about what do we write? Int number equal to 13 or 10, whatever. This is how we write in Java. Okay, but this is not valid JavaScript. Why? In JavaScript, we don't have this keyword called int. I hope this makes sense so far. Clear?
yes,
Okay, now in JavaScript, if I want to do the same thing, I cannot use int. Suppose if I try to write like this, let's say, see, I'm getting an error straight away saying that unexpected keyword or identifier. JavaScript is complaining, hey, I don't know what isn't. Okay, so I cannot give it like this. Okay, like I've just shown you, we have data types like number, string, and boolean. But for creation of variables, I cannot use any of these data types like number, string, boolean. I cannot even use it. I have to use let or const. Okay, so these are the two keywords in JavaScript which I can use to create variables, let and const. Technically, there is one more which is var, but var is a very older way. It is an, you can say, legacy JavaScript. We don't use it, this var keyword. So we use only let and const because this is how JavaScript is. We have to understand and respect its syntax. Are you getting, Praveen?
yes, Piyush. So basically, if I declare the let keyword, and
Hmm.
for that, if I write a full name counter, the number or string or even the Boolean value, so automatically it detect as restoring that value.
Exactly. That is a problem with JavaScript. So if I do like this, let number equal to 10. See, now the problem with JavaScript is I can even change the data type, like I was explaining in my yesterday's demo. So number equal to, okay, let me give my name, say Piyush. See, this is allowed in JavaScript, very unfortunately. Okay, so I started with the number and later on, number is actually a string. This is called dynamic typing in JavaScript, which is causing a lot of issues. That is why we need TypeScript. See, in TypeScript, if I do the same thing, see, I'm again creating a variable and I'm assigning a string value. But later on, if I try to assign a number to this variable, see, it is complaining, hey, type number is not assignable to type string. That is why most companies are looking for TypeScript because TypeScript gives you an error quickly. In JavaScript, I don't get this error. It has hidden my error in my code. Are you getting, Praveen, now?
Yes, yes, I got it.
Yes. So we'll cover TypeScript in very detail. It is very simple. If JavaScript is clear, TypeScript is a piece of cake actually. It has some very small syntax differences between JavaScript and TypeScript. So it is a superset of JavaScript. Any other questions? Anyone? Maybe Praveen or anyone? Yes, Sita. Sita, yes, you can go ahead. I can't hear you as of now. I think you previously unmuted also, but somehow your voice is not coming. I don't know. Is it just for me or others? I can't hear you. Maybe if you have a mic problem or something, I don't know. If you are able to hear me, you can post your query in the chat also. So guys, if you really like this demo and if you really want to, let's say, proceed forward, what you can do is you can even drop me a WhatsApp. You can even reach out to the team and they can help you with the enrollment part. So I've already pasted my message in the chat, which is 7738532684. That is my number. In case if you still have doubts, even after this class gets over. Any other questions, guys? Regarding the course, regarding the content, regarding timeline, any guidance, anything you have, feel free to ask me. I can give you 5 or 10 more minutes because in after 10 minutes, I have another playwright batch actually. So not sure, Sita, if you are still able to communicate anything. Okay, so I see some message in the chat. So I have joined your weekend class, but I have missed some class. So for direct connect, I have joined here. No worries, Sita. I'm so glad that you have joined. I'm pretty sure you will really get a lot of value and you will get your money's worth. Thank you. Anyone else wants to have a question? Maybe I see some new faces actually. So, hmm. So Sita, it is very hard to read your entire error in the chat. What I would suggest, you can just post your snapshot directly to me on WhatsApp. Anyways, we have connected on WhatsApp. You can just send me your query on WhatsApp and I'll be able to help you out with your errors. Okay? Yeah. Thank you. So I see some more new faces, maybe Sudha, Sunil. So if you want to introduce yourself, guys, if you have any specific queries, any specific expectation, you can share with me. Sudha, are you able to hear me? Sunil, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, yesterday also I joined your class.
Okay,
So
okay,
yeah, so
okay.
right
So look,
now just
uh,
just only one that query is there. So as
huh,
you said that we'll go with the TypeScript, but as per my project demand,
hmm,
we have to go through that JavaScript Playwright.
correct.
Yeah.
Okay,
So there won't be any issue that.
absolutely. There won't be any issue actually, not an issue.
Okay.
See, if you are basically studying TypeScript, then you have to go with JavaScript only. Okay.
Okay. Fine. No
Yeah,
issue.
but it is an advantage for you. Maybe if you want to move on to other projects or other companies, most of the
Yeah.
companies now require TypeScript, not JavaScript, because of the issues with JavaScript.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah, like I've just shown you, this is the first issue with JavaScript, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that is why people are looking for TypeScript.
So in both JavaScript, TypeScript, syntax almost similar, or
Yeah,
there's
syntax
quite
syntax is
difference?
very similar because see,
Yeah.
TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript. I'll tell you. See, what is TypeScript? TypeScript is valid JavaScript plus additional features. So, okay, TypeScript is actually a wrapper around JavaScript because,
Okay.
yeah, so actually TypeScript is created by Microsoft and they've created this language to remove the shortcomings of JavaScript. So, it is some additional features. So, learning TypeScript will not take too long if your JavaScript fundamentals are pretty strong.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So,
Yeah. Thank.
no worries. So, you guys have any other questions? Otherwise, actually, we are done with this particular demo. So, the purpose of this demo is just to give you a high-level glimpse as to what you can expect from this course. If you're liking my teaching style, then you can definitely go ahead. Any other questions? If no questions, we can just, stop the meeting and then we can meet tomorrow at the same time, which is 8 o'clock. So, I'll wait for 1 more minute. If no questions are there, then we can start tomorrow. All right, Sita. Okay, so looks like there are no other questions, so we can just stop for today. Okay, so thank you so much, guys, for joining in. Okay, and one thing I would really like to tell you, I know some of you are trying to set your New Year resolution goals. I know you all are trying to set, but like most of you, what really happens is we set the New Year resolution goals, but these goals usually remain only for the first month, and from the second month onwards, we start forgetting them. Okay. Why? Because it is not a problem with the goal, it is a problem with the mindset, our thought process. So that is something what we are going to understand. Okay, so throughout this course, not only we'll be learning this technical stuff, I'll be also sharing some mind hacks also, because I'm a big time reader, guys. And some of you who really want to develop a good, solid, you can say rock solid mindset, you may want to read a book called as Atomic Habits. Let me just write it for you. If you are a reader, if you are not a reader, forget it. Okay, I'm a big time reader, and this book has really helped me. Atomic Habits by James Clear. And I'm big time on reading, guys. So these books have really helped me improve my communication skills, my leadership skills, and most importantly, it has helped me overcome my self-limiting beliefs. Okay, I was a very shy, introverted guy, but now I'm no longer. Why? Because of these good books. Okay, so I'm just trying to give you hope that you can also get better. Okay, so this is a book, James Clear, actually. Yeah, it's a pretty good book. And secondly, I was talking about what? Please, guys, market is very competitive nowadays. Okay, what you want to do is you want to apply carefully. Don't just blindly hit on the apply button if you are maybe trying to apply for any particular opportunity. Look at the keywords, what are relevant keywords you have. Put those keywords into your CV. Yes, it takes time, but you will get far better results. Okay, and secondly, please stay active on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a gold mine if you don't know. LinkedIn is a pretty solid gold mine. You might get pretty good amount of opportunities through LinkedIn. Okay. So please stay active on LinkedIn. Okay. You may want to connect on LinkedIn so that you can see how I'm getting so many different opportunities. And I can definitely help you out with some referrals also, because I have a pretty solid network of more than 30,000 people approximately. Okay. And then finally, so that is it, guys. And maybe if somebody wants to enroll, you can drop me a WhatsApp and I can ask the team to reach out to you. Okay, so I think these are the two free demo classes, and maybe from tomorrow they will start. We will share this session only with the enrolled people, I guess. So that is up to the team to decide, but this is how it is. Okay, guys. So thank you so much for joining in. It was great. Okay, so I believe it was a good demo class. Okay, so looking forward to see you all tomorrow as well. Right. So thank you so much for joining and take care. Bye bye. See you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right.